Okay, so I've decided to make a sort of series of videos just talking about my sort of life through anime in a way. Just talk about the animes I've seen, what I've really liked, what I've not liked as much, and how they've really stood out to me. And I'm going to sort of do an introductory video to myself in a way, and then go on to talk about my childhood animes. So my name is Sarah. I'm 19 years old, almost 20. Birthday's in a week. Yay! Except not, because then I'm gonna feel really old now. Holy shit, I'm almost 20. This is scary as hell. But besides that, anime has been a big part of my life for a while. Like, I'm gonna give brief introduction just to myself in this, but I watched, as I'll talk about more about in this, I watched Pokemon when I was little. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! I watched a few things, and then it was when I was in middle school, like I knew I liked sort of anime stuff. Like I had seen like a few episodes of Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho when they were on TV, but not enough to really know anything about the plot. Except with Kenshin, I knew there's less of a plot from what I saw some of the beginning episodes. Oh, and Dragon Ball Z and stuff. Which I so amazed that I was actually able to catch up on that and follow it decently. But and then what happened was when I was in think it was actually I was on Neopets a lot during middle school, and I would go onto the Neopets forums, be looking around, oh, role plays, Teen Titan, like all this stuff, and I would always see this one thing just pop up, and I would say Inuyasha roleplay, Inuyasha, Inuyasha, and I was thinking, what's this Inuyasha I keep hearing about? Sounds interesting. And then I didn't really give much thought to it, and then I was in California for I don't know, just to see family and stuff, and I was at my aunt's house, and clearly remembered her TV working a little oddly, like almost on the Eastern time, like when it was 9 o'clock in California, you'd be watching shows that aired at 9 o'clock in the East. I clearly remember this when I was trying to watch Dragon Ball Z, and we turned it on, we got Johnny Bravo. But so I decided, my cousins are downstairs watching Tarzan, and I decided, put on Teen Titans, I think it's on. I turn on the TV to Cartoon Network, and I see Futurama's on, so I'm like, wait, that's Futurama. It must be the Adult Swim lineup. So I check the guide. I'm like, oh my god, that Inuyasha show is going to be on next. I have to watch this. This is my chance. So I watched an episode, was pretty darn confused. It's the episode when you first meet, God, I completely forget his name. I think it was like Muso, or it was when like only the guy that was in love with Kikyo in the cave. It was when you first meet him in his weird demon form or something, and I thought it was really interesting. So when I got back home, I felt like I had to look up the series just to get a basic idea of the plot. So I did that, and then I just sort of got a basic idea so that I knew who basically everyone was. I knew who like Naraku was, all that stuff, and I just continued to watch the show from then. And then I bought a few volumes of the manga, and I continued with it, and that got me started. And then I really liked Rumiko Takahashi's works, and so later on that year, I was like, I'm going to buy Ranma because I've heard about it, and it actually looked familiar because I saw it on the back of a Pokemon thing once. And I now personally, I will say I've enjoyed Ranma more than I did Inuyasha. Thinking about it, I think it's a better series, just because I think Rumiko Takahashi excels more with the humor than she does with the dramatic. Because as much as I do love Inuyasha, it does drag a lot. But after that, like I was just like searching up stuff on Inuyasha, so I kept getting all these games and animes just thrown at me. Like a lot of ones I didn't even watch until much later on. But like, so I found out what Utena was, which confused the hell out of me when I first read it. But I found out about like Evangelion, Fruits Basket, a little bit of FMA, not too much, but I heard the name tossed around a few times. But and then and then later on, I would hear this one show like on fan fiction. I just hear the name, didn't really know anything about it, just saw the name, and that one was Naruto. And then when it started airing on Do Not Me, I was like, oh, it's that Naruto show. I heard about it. I'll watch it. And started watching it. And I got really into it. And then it was later on in my freshman year of high school, I found I found these other shows. I found FMA and Fruits Basket. I found Yu Yu Hakusho again. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this show from the beginning. And then those are the then I started Cardcaptor Soccer. I think was the first one that I actually did watch in sub because I just heard about how bad the dub was, and even now, like I am much more. I still appreciate the dub so well, so much. But yeah, and so from from then on, I just like that summer, it was insane. And then I did my ninth year over again when I switched to go went to boarding school. So I went there, I had all this anime in my mind. I was already considered myself sort of an anime fan. And I like joined the anime club in my high school, which sort of died after a year. I think they, but we watched Helsing for the first time, and I thought it was so awesome. And I know Helsing isn't that good a series. I know Ultimate is much better from the little I've seen of it. I still enjoy original Helsing just because I like Alucard and Crispin Freeman's voice is kind of godly, but yeah. So I just continued on, and then it was just sort of like just like curve or curve, just oh, so weird being with the webcam, but we're up way there. No, but yeah. So, and then here I am now, and now I'm doing cosplays. I'm buying DVDs, Ikai Chase also, watch it. But yeah, so now with opinions on the childhood animes, and it's weird how everyone's experience with the shows. It's like back then, Funimation didn't really exist when I started watching shows. Like all they had was Dragon Ball Z, and I, I guess they sort of had Fruits Basket a little later into my childhood, but I didn't really watch it, and it was that and Yu Yu Hakusho basically. And but most of my experience was with four kids, I guess. But honestly, I mainly just stuck with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And in all honesty, I feel bad for saying this, but like compared to their other works, those ones are not as bad. Like Pokemon was fine. Like I thought Pokemon, like everything is like when you have Veronica Taylor and God, I'm blanking on her name. This is bad. God, I am so freaking tired. I can't believe Rachel Lillis. That's her name. I got an Eric Stewart. Oh, and Lisa Ortiz. Like even before, like I could always recognize her voice, and even though I didn't know it at first, but later on when I heard her in Slayers, I was like, that girl, her voice is from somewhere. And I think it was as I was watching the first episode, I basically like popped out of my chair, was like, she was in so many episodes of Pokemon. That must be where I know her from. So yeah, I mean, Pokemon still has a special place in my heart, and I'm not gonna be like that person who's just like, oh, new, where they place the voices, oh, it's blah blah blah. And I'm like, honestly, I feel bad for saying it's like I feel bad more for like the voice actors themselves. And I heard some of it, and I was like, it's not that bad. Like I actually like Dawn from the little I've seen of it. I'm like, oh, I mean, I sort of like her more than May, and I sort of think May's okay, but it was the beginning. May was like freaking afraid of Pokemon and running away, and like, oh, this torture guy, I'm gonna do it. Dawn was like, oh, Professor, not Birch. Oh God, I cannot. The old dude. The old dude was like, oh, your Piplup ran away? I'm gonna go find it for you. And I'm like, you're taking initiative. Why are people hating on you? You're like really go getting, want to start your Pokemon journey. May was just like, I give up for anything for travel around the world. I was like, seriously? I'm like, you're like living little kids like in our world. Your dreams to be a Pokemon trainer. You're treating it like it's nothing. She got better later on, but I was just more just upset about people hating on Dawn because I'm like, she seems sweet. I don't know, and actually, even though I ship Ash and Misty, I think Dawn and Ash are sort of cute together. I like them more than Ash and May. Just sort of low thinking about it. It's like, Veronica Taylor does both their voices, Ash and May. She's like a little funny, just like, wow, lots of talking to yourself. Same with any scenes with Jessie and Misty. Rachel Lewis talking to herself. I am stopping myself.